Welcome back to the Up and Down matches. Today is Group B. We've got a 5-player group. We've got a Kespa Protoss. We've got a Slayers Protoss. We've got tons of players in here. YoDa from LGIM is one of them.
1 Soul Zerg player, 2 Terrans, and 2 Protoss players today in Group B. Yesterday we had a really a very stacked group, a lot of very good players. 6 players in total today. The group is a little bit smaller. We have only 5 players.
Yeah, we've got only 5 players today. A few less matches, but the group could be just as close, if not closer, than the group we saw yesterday. That was actually a pretty epic conclusion of the live with the 2 racks. We had actually 2 players advancing out of that 6-player group, both of them never being in Codes before. All the players who didn't advance had all been in Codes once before, so that's kind of an interesting stat.
And funny as it is, today we have a similar situation. We have one, well, not yet because we don't know who advances, but the thing is we have 1 player who has not been in Code S yet. It's Mini, and everyone else so far already had a Code S spot in the past.
Yeah. We've got DongRaeGu. DongRaeGu will actually play against GS. It's going to be kind of a repeat of these 2 former teammates finals that we had a few seasons ago. That's going to be exciting to watch. I can't wait to see that one. DongRaeGu versus Bomber should be a really exciting match to watch as well. So many good matchups in today's group that I'm really looking forward to see.
Yeah, DRG being the only Zerg in the group has, of course, a little bit of an advantage because he only had to prepare 2 matchups for today. All the other players had to prepare every single matchup in order to compete today. And it's going to be really exciting to see, especially, of course, with Bomber sometimes a little bit inconsistent, but definitely one of the favorite players in this group. Let's have a quick look at yesterday's results, though, before we jump into Group B. Here we go with JYP, Alive, Boom Boom, and MMA not able to get into Code S. All 4 of them are now in Code A, whereas Hack and Hyun were able to advance.
Yep. Looking pretty good. Really, Hyun yesterday, very dominant, only losing 1 set. And that was actually to Alive, who ended up being the Sandflag player of the group. And here today's matches: YoDa, DongRaeGu, Genius, Bomber, and Many. A 5-player group, as said before, pretty stacked. YoDa, I think, really is going to have to put on full steam if he wants to be able to get out of here, though. His win ratio, as you can see here, by far the worst.
Yeah, on the other hand, of course, for Mini, we don't really have this many matches. That's one of the problems when you just look at the statistics. YoDa was really doing very well last season, up to the point where he then dropped out of Code S. Will he be able to get back into shape, into this mindset where he can take on all these former Code S players, or will we see him fall into Code B today? That's something we're going to find out very soon. The first game is going to be DRG versus YoDa. That's the first match today, so we're starting things off with the Terran versus Zerg.
And this Terran versus Zerg should be a pretty great one. I think YoDa is going to have to really step it up, though. We talked about this just moments ago. YoDa has the worst win rate in this group. He's played almost 30 games in total. 30 sets, that is. And he's an LGIM player, though. This is basically considered by many people to be the strongest team in the entire world right now.
Yeah, LGIM and StarTale, definitely the 2 contestants for the GSL win this season. That's at least what most people would expect.
Yeah, and also that they're going to play against each other on Saturday, so don't forget to tune into that. It's going to be awesome.
Exactly, that's going to be really good. But right now we have Antigua Shipyard. That's the map today. It's the best of 1. Don't forget about that, guys. DRG up against YoDa here at the GSL Up and Downs. Today we're having Group B. 2 players will advance to Code S. The rest of them is going to play in Code A next season. And of course, they might drop out of Code A as well if they lose the first round. But now we are focusing a little bit more on YoDa versus DRG. Our opening match today, a Terran versus Zerg.
DongRaeGu is ready. Look at that twitching finger, man.
Yeah, the map is
so ready.
The map hasn't even loaded, and he's already going at it.
He is going crazy in there. He is so ready. It's got a tough map ahead of him. It's Antigua Shipyard. Will he be able to take that forth? Will he put on the aggression? Can YoDa stop him here? The weakest player in the group. This is the GSL Up and Down matches. YoDa against DongRaeGu. Casper, Auto and Wolf.
Our Terran player in orange starts to the left side of Antigua Shipyard. He's playing for LGIM, and he called himself after a Star Wars character. His ideas:
LGIM YoDa.
We need to swap Street Fighter voice for YoDa voice when he makes an appearance.
I would like to see that. I just wanted to change the idea to YoDa IM. But
yeah. To the right side, we have his opponent. This is, of course, the Zerg player for Team MVP. One of the favorites in this group, it is...
MVP DongRaeGu.
Multi-time champion, current OSL finalist. He is not able to get to play in the Codes finals in his hometown, unfortunately for him. He was, a lot of people were saying he was in a slump for a while. He wasn't able to maintain Codes either. He found himself in the up and downs. He could not get out in his third round match. He lost in the ZVZ to Roro, which was really intense. Despite having leads over Roro, 2 games in a row, Roro was able to turn things around and knock DongRaeGu down here where he faces YoDa first. I think DongRaeGu is definitely one of the top contenders to get out of this group, but he's going to have to play really hard because he doesn't have easy opponents.
In Code S and also in the NASL, DRG lost quite a lot of matches against Terran players recently. He lost in Code S and in NASL against Polt, he lost against Teja. He was able to win against Bomber also, on the other hand, and also against Marine King. So that's one thing that is pretty interesting because Bomber and DRG will meet later on once again. So against Terran players, a little bit of a so-so statistic in the last few weeks. Antigua Shipyard is of course starting things with a 15 hatch. And we are going to find out what exactly his plan is for this map. In general, Antigua Shipyard works in favor of the Terran because it's very hard for the Zerg to get a 4th base. And as long as the Terran player controls the center of the map, he has a very good position to get a 4th and to just shut down Zerg aggression.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Overlord, of course, is being killed in the main base. Well, not killed, but chased away. He sees that the gas has not been taken very early. This is very, very rare, in fact, to see the gas being taken before Command Center in today's current state of things. You've seen it very occasionally. Sometimes on big maps, try to throw off Zerg players, go for fast Hellion pressure.
Yeah, the Overlord spotted one of the 2 gases. The double refinery is now being built. And of course, YoDa's SCV just confirmed that DRG at this point does not have an extractor, is not mining gas, so there's no aggression coming his way. That's some of the information that he could also already gather. And DRG therefore will most likely go up at least up to 4 queens, might even go up to 6.
Yeah. Probably, I think 6. DongRaeGu has done this in the past. Now, something that YoDa can do on this map is start to be very aggressive and control the center early on. That's the most important part of Antigua Shipyard. If you control the center of the map, it's hard for the Zerg to take that center 4th base, whereas you can also take that base if you have control of location. Then all you have to do is make sure you scout, and if you know where any other base is for DongRaeGu, you can just probably send a drop over and kill it, or send another small force of Marines. Very difficult for the Zerg to take a base like that.
DRG is actually going for the double extractor a little bit faster than I suspected. I thought he would go up to 6 queens, would take the 3rd base. And if you go 3 bases on Antigua Shipyard, you either need to have a high queen count so that you can deal with Hellions. Also, you have to spread your creep really fast so that you can assist with the queens in case there are banshees. Or you can just try to rely on Zerglings, but that's usually only with speed the case. And as DRG built those extractors very late, didn't actually think that he would build them this fast.
DongRaeGu is, as you said, getting the gas, but he's also only going to 4 queens. SCV verifies that there's no 3rd base. He's checked it now.
And there's a reason. He's going for a fast lair tech.
I think it's going to be Mutas.
Not wasting any time here with the speed, is going straight for the lair as soon as he has 100 gas. Therefore, a pretty interesting strategy that he chooses here, and Mutas would definitely be what you would assume at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough for Go to figure out exactly what sort of push he may face or what sort of tech he's going to face, because his SV is never going to be able to get past those 2 queens at the front of the base. But his Hellions may be able to sneak in. It's going to be pretty tough. I don't think he's even going to try it, but he just continues to verify now, okay, no 3rd base, some sort of tech is coming. What's it going to be?
He doesn't have anything, by the way. There are no Zerglings, there is no Spine Crawler. He's well, except for the 2 Scoutlings here, but he doesn't have anything else. So this is a bit risky. If YoDa decides to go for a high Hellion count and then just runs in, DRG might die. So he's taking a huge risk here. But at this point, he's definitely being rewarded for it because YoDa is not overly aggressive.
Yeah, he's not. Right now, though, he may try to sneak by, and he does. The 4 Hellions come up here. He's trying to block the ramp, but only 1 queen will not be enough. Will he see the Spire? He's so close to seeing it, and he's already seen it, in fact. And the drones are lining up. DongRaeGu could lose a ton here. A nice split. He loses several. But most importantly, the Spire has been scouted now. And all the drones are still going down.
In total, he lost 8, which is still fine. It's not great, but still 8 drones. That's something that you can definitely live with. The problem is that the Spire was scouted And as I said, DRG is a little bit lucky here. Even with the attack that we just had, YoDa only used 4 Hellions. If he uses 6 or 8, which is definitely a common attack in a TVZ, then DRG would have lost a lot more. YoDa knows, of course, that there's a Spire right now, as you already pointed out, Wolf. So the double engineering bay, as a consequence, he will therefore get the missile turrets and will be ready. But this means that DRG will be able to fight this Banshee off, and also he will be able to dominate the map in the early and mid game.
He cancelled Cloak when he saw the Spire. I really like that. You can see his gas getting a little bit high here as a result, but that's going to be useful later on, of course, with the E-Bays that he just finished. He starts +1. We'll start the armor. There it is, and his stim is started here as well. I like the choice of having the command center at the natural, where he can defend pretty easily against the Mutalisk. And here they come, 5 of them being started. He'll probably go up to about 8. I would feel, and then as soon as he has that count, he's just going to use it to control the map, shut down drops, potentially take a 4th base when he can.
Yeah, if you go Mutalisk as a Zerg player, what most Zergs don't do anymore is go for a high Mutalisk count against Terran, because most Terran players were able to deal with the Mutalisk a lot better. They build a lot more Marines, you have the upgrades, they go for Thor so that you can zone out the Mutalisk completely. And the thing with the Mutalisk is that you want to dominate the mid-game, especially on Antigua Shipyard. You can shut down drop play, which is really, really important. And this is, of course, a pretty cool strategy in the early stage of the game. I'm interested, though, what exactly DRG will do, if he will build more than 10, or if he's just now sticking with the 6 that he already has, tries to harass a little bit, and then prepares for his late game scenario where he's either going into Brood Lords, which is more likely with a +1 attack upgrade, or go for the Ultralisk.
Yeah, a lot of players have started to use Ultralisk on this map because it's so wide open, but you're right, with the +1 it indicates more likely that he wants to go for those Ultralisks. The crease spread block on the 3rd base is really annoying for YoDa. He's going to have to deal with that, but right now he doesn't seem too interested in taking it while the mutas are on the map. He knows that if he moves out too many units, he's going to potentially be caught by Speedlings and Banelings on the map as well, so he's just trying to turtle here a little bit. This is really annoying. If he could cancel Siege Mode, that would be great, but unfortunately for him, there's enough Marines here in the main. He's trying to pick off units, and he's getting several here without losing his mutas, so this is a great aggressive play from DongRaeGu so far.
He's getting a lot, and this looks more like he's really trying to end this in the mid-game, a little bit Hyun style, because he is dumping all his gas into the Mutalisk production, so he's not just sticking with 6, trying to shut down drop play and get control over the map in the mid-game. He's really going up to all the Zergling upgrades that he needs, +1/+1, gets a huge amount of them. He spreads his creep, gets more Mutalisk, gets the speed upgrade for the Banelings, so this really looks like he wants to end the game in the mid-game.
Yeah, it's starting to look more like that. He just got his last bit of drones. He's now up to 78. And he takes a macro hatch here, not the 4th base. It's much safer to get that extra production rather than trying to take a 4th. But with the potential mid-game aggression, he may not even try to mine up the 4th base at all. Making some Banelings now defensively because he knows this push is a little bit scary for him to deal with. He doesn't have enough mutas to really backstab with all the turrets that YoDa built back at home.
Yeah, YoDa is not going to push here. He's just trying to poke a little bit and see if he can maybe force back some creep with a good scan. He knows exactly that if he fights on creep right now, the chances of him being surrounded with the Zerglings and then his army dying are just too big. He's taken the 3rd base, and that's what he wants to secure. If he's able to turtle right now, he will be completely fine with it. Getting those upgrades, getting +2/+2, and then head straight into a +3/+3. Later on, maybe even build the Thor. That's what he wants to do right now. He has the siege tanks in position, he has already a bunker on the low ground. He knows exactly that at some point DRG might just try to go in with Zerglings, Banelings, and Mutalisks.
Yeah, this is what we saw earlier, but he has Siege Mode. We saw Hyun use this strategy several times, especially against players who don't have Siege Mode. Picking off the turret here, doesn't lose a single Mutalisk, and now he's actually going to be able to get a Marine, and he's going to be able to fight this through. He has enough mutas now. Muta count now up to 13, and that seems to be the unlucky number here for YoDa, who still has not pulled his units back into his main base. He's losing so much here.
Yeah, he's losing a lot. He's trying to drop to the right side into the main base of DRG, and there's already the Marine drop. But he pulls back in time. A few Mutalisks dying, not too many. He actually doesn't target the pool. Now he starts to do it. Was focusing the extractor first.
I think he'll get it. Transfuse may say otherwise. He's got double transfuse. He'll save it.
Yeah, the transfuses here are too strong and the drop is not saved. Oh, actually 4 of them get out.
Well, he had to use a lot of clean energy there, but also lost a decent amount of lings and drones. But the bigger story, I feel, is how many SCVs YoDa lost. He lost 9 there, plus he lost his refinery. He had to rebuild it. He's...
Oh, wow, he actually misses. No, he doesn't. Yeah.
Oh, maybe targets Muta? No.
Looks for the drop, and often the Marines die, so does the Medivac. Currently, we're looking at a situation where DRG has a 40 supply lead. He has decent upgrades in the game. YoDa is a little bit faster, though, with his +2/+2. And a 4th base now coming up for DRG, but as you can see, YoDa with a run by. That's exactly the reason why it's so tough for a Zerg player to build a fourth base in this map because drop play is so effective.
And DongRaeGu is focused on that attack, so he's not actually going to save this base. He's splitting his units now. He's running in at the natural.
There's the stim for the Terran play, immediately moving behind the siege tech line, trying to kill those banelings before they can connect. A lot of them die, but does he have enough Marines to deal with those murals? It certainly doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look like it at all. With the Lings coming in to support, YoDa could just die here.
The Thor is not out yet. He really needs this Thor, but it's not there yet.
It's not there yet. The wall here is going to be critical. The Mutalisks are a little bit low on hit points, but all the SCVs are trapped outside now of the natural, and the Marines are stuck in there as well. This drop gets cleaned up easily by DongRaeGu.
Yeah, this counter attack does not really work in his favor, and now all the SCVs trying to escape, but Zerglings and Mutalisks dealing a lot of damage. In total, YoDa already lost 31 Harvesters, and he's about to lose more as DRG just rallies Zerglings across the map down to the bottom left and tries to end the game.
Yeah, he is picking off these Marines really, really easily, and I think with a nice wave of 11 Banelings they can bring in here, he's going to be totally fine. The pool, though, dies, and this means that he's going to lose his Zergling production, so this attack, if he really wants to continue to commit here, this one has to be basically the final one.
And the problem for him is that he does not have gas. He cannot produce anything else except for Zerglings, but without the pool, even that's not an option. So he rebuilds his pool, tries to defend against this drop play, but for now, YoDa was able to just shut down this aggression. YoDa is trying to stabilize on 2 bases, but he's of course really hurt. He lost so much, so many Marines, and is now down to a unit count with only 1 tank, 1 Thor. Has a lot of Marines by now again though, 35 in total, but his SCV count down to 38, mining from 2 bases. He's really hurt.
Yeah, he doesn't have the ability to grab that third command center because he knows if he moves over there, Mutalisks and Zerglings are just going to kill him. He doesn't have any turrets in place, doesn't have a bunker over there. He's trying to control this space in between the bases. Now, DongRaeGu may lose some Mutalisks here, depends on how well YoDa targets. And it looks like he will get just one.
As long as he can shut down this drop, everything's going to be fine. He has a 4th base and a 5th base building now. He is dictating the pace of the game, and YoDa can only react. He cannot really do anything about it. Yeah. Every single time he heads out with his dropships, he's going to run into an Overlord eventually, and then the Mutalisks will clean the drop out.
The drops that he was using earlier were kind of the threat he was hanging by in this game, but as you can see, as Kelder just said, he can't use the drops anymore because DongRaeGu is no longer focused on something else. Before he was focused on the attack, he was using his Mutalisks aggressively, so he couldn't shut down the drops. Now it's super easy for him just to use his Overlords to spot dropships and pick them off with the Mutas. And here comes the Mutas into the main base. There's not enough Marines here. There's a turret, but it goes down instantly.
The Marines are also dying. There are just not enough of them. The upgrades are good. Here comes that's the Thor, and that's exactly what he needs. But DRG is patient now. He's not overextending himself. He could actually just now go into the Hive Tech too, just as a follow-up. He certainly has the mining that he needs for it, but he wants to end the game. He doesn't even want to prolong it. There's no backup for him, and he knows that he probably won't even need it. 160 supply against 100, moving in, matching Fox into the Thor, taking it down, and there is just no anti. A few Marines, but where are the Zerglings? Has to wait for the next wave.
Yeah, he has to wait for the next wave, and that was a great trade for DRG, who now has both of those hatcheries up, the one to the north and to the south. The one to the south is not really mining yet. The one to the north is getting some drones. He's transferring some over there. But just having 2 bases on the opposite sides of the map like that means that if YoDa gets one, he can't get the other.
But you know, the fun thing is that right now DRG is actually in a spot where it's going to be difficult for him to attack YoDa, because YoDa is on 3 bases again. He's losing a drop once more, and that's of course going to be an issue. No, not enough Motors. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and he needs to send some Lings over there, actually. He's focused on this part of the map, but the Lings are not going to defend that base, so he's going to lose that hatchery for sure.
Yeah, the hatch is going to die here. He has another base to the top left, of course, but still, YoDa is on decent upgrades here. So at this point, it's really becoming a little bit edgy for DRG. YoDa has 3 attack upgrades, 2 armor, and is now setting up his defense in the middle again.
Yeah, DongRaeGu has basically rammed his head against a wall so many times that the wall is starting to get stronger, it feels like. DongRaeGu is looking a little bit weaker here. His attacks aren't able to be effective anymore. He doesn't have an infestation pit yet. He still hasn't made it. He's making 4 more Mutas and some more Lings. He doesn't want to play that late game. This drop this time is going to be completely shut down now.
Yeah, the drop dies, the Mutalisks are there. He's even getting the armor upgrades now. He really wants to stick with this composition. I feel like, you know, the Baneling Nest, the infestation pit, and there it is, thanks. It's not hurting him. It's definitely helping him a lot. As soon as he has Hive, he can go into +3/+3. He has +2/+2 upgrades for his Zerglings, but he's falling behind in upgrades, and that's becoming an issue. So if he does not kill YoDa with the next attack, he definitely needs to prepare for a late game.
Yeah, he does. And the Mutas are trying to find opening in the main base. There's double turrets here. Will he be able to take out some of the production facilities? That's basically all he can get. There's no SCVs left.
The double turret doesn't help him that much because there are 20 Mutalisks already and they have upgrades. And moving in, taking down Marines. So this is really, once again, a brilliant position for DRG. He has a lot of excess supply. And with him preparing now for the late game, I don't think that he will fall in this trap where he gets too complacent. He's supply blocked for a second, but he has a huge army. His army supply alone is at 111 against 89. So YoDa is still dangerous to him. But if this army dies, then this is it for the Terran player.
Yeah, and it may die now. The Banelings come in here. The siege tanks are not very well split, but the Marines were behind them. It just looks like it's too much. The Mutalisks are now uncontested here, taking out all the medevacs, and the Lings are just looking for something to kill. There's not much left.
Yeah, there's a huge difference if you attack into siege up position of a Terran player who also uses bunkers, or if you catch him in the middle of the map. GG. YoDa not able to siege up in time. DRG takes the game. This was the one last victory, the one last battle he had to win. Well done, taking a lead in the group, therefore.
DongRaeGu, very, I would say he's very much so the favorite player to get out of this group. One of two.
Yeah.
And
my personal picks today would be DRG and Bomber.
You know, I feel DRG, but everyone else I'm not so sure about. I would say that it's very unlikely YoDa gets out of the group, but he looked decent in that last game. He was able to really take a bad situation and turn it around a little bit with his great defense time and time again. But eventually the thread he was hanging by was cut down by DongRaeGu's continued Mutalisks production, his map awareness.
And right now we're heading into the next game, of course, when after we just saw a Terran versus ZerG, we're now heading into a Protoss versus Terran. The next players are going to be Genius against Bomber. This should also be a very good one.
This is going to be awesome, actually. Now that I think about it a little bit more closely, because Genius is so unpredictable in this matchup, and Bomber, on the other hand, can be aggressive in the early game or in the late game himself. You never know what Bomber's going to do. He might 3-axe before commands there and keep that a secret from you. He might even go for siege tank push.
We have a pretty cool map. We have Cloud Kingdom. I really like this for this game.
Yeah, this is going to be a map that if Genius can get that fourth base up, down that cliff, it's going to be really hard for Bomber to attack him there. We'll see though, because Bomber doesn't always let people get to the late game. His drop play is practically unparalleled in this matchup, I feel. He just really knows how to take a player and rip them apart, similar to Gumiho in this matchup.
If Bomber is in good shape, he's just so difficult to beat. And Genius, on the other hand, well, he also sometimes gets a little bit sneaky. We're going to find out how much all this commotion in Korea has currently affected him, which is, of course, another issue.
Yeah, you know, Genius, the thing about Genius in that is that he was not part of the team during most of the conflicts discussed in the recent Slayers drama, I guess I should say, to sum it all up there. But
yeah, but it still has to affect him a little bit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he still wears the jacket. He's still on the team. He's here with Sella today.
Yeah, I can't believe that he's that stone cold that he can completely shut everything out here, and not only now sitting in the booth, but also during practice. So now we have Cloud Kingdom, the map between our Terran player and the Protoss. And yeah, Bomber looking good here, Genius as well. Let's see what's gonna happen here. The map is loading, ladies and gentlemen. This is the second game in Group B here at the Up&Downs. Only 2 players get out into Code S. The rest of them will have to play Code A next season.
It's loaded up. Let's do it.
I'm basically out of anything to say, and the loading screen is still not gone.
All right, man, I'm going to do my thing.
Okay,
2012 GSL Up&Down matches for Season 5. Genius against Bomber. Protoss versus Terran on Cloud Kingdom. I am Wolf. With me is Kaldor. Let's jump into the game.
Well done, well done. That was exactly what we needed.
That's what we needed, man.
I mean, look at that. That's perfect. The timing works out so well.
It was great.
We should do them all.
Yeah.